Welcome back to Pixel Junkies. You're listening to the Pixel Junkies podcast, episode 14. I am one of your hosts, Rory DC.
I'm your other host, Adam the Porge Knight.
I'm Aaron.
And Andrew. Hi, everybody.
Can you be...
What?
Can you be to say that again?
What? No.
Okay.
Did you fool up the mics?
Can you be Andrew the Aaron and Aaron the Andrew?
No.
I didn't be me. I'm Aaron the me.
So, welcome back to Pixel Junkies, the... all you out there in radio...
Land?
and
by the way,
YouTube land.
if you're
and
on
iTunes
radio,
land,
if you're
land,
in radio
land.
land right now, be sure to go on to PixelJunkies.ca and watch the full hour and a half version of the podcast. It's
If you're
on
in
video.
Radio Land, it's called the Internet.
Yes, exactly.
So get with it.
And if you're listening to iTunes, then you probably have to wait until whenever I decide to upload it.
Right.
Bit of a pain.
By the way, just worth noting, the video version actually comes out Monday at around 9 a.m. But if you're listening to this on radio,
Newfoundland time.
Newfoundland Standard Time. And if you're listening to this on radio, you're actually listening to it Saturday at 1 p.m.
Oh man,
Newfoundland
it's
Standard
9
Time.
on the button every Monday.
That's true, yeah.
For one time. It's
Yeah.
always 9 a.m.
So there's actually quite a lot, even though
fault.
we had that kind of awkward start, there's actually quite a lot to talk about today.
I'm so excited.
I'm not sure what to start with. So there's a movie review to get through.
Witcher 3.
Witcher 3? Let's start with Witcher 3.
Start there?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's a big thing that I want to get to last, so we're going to leave plenty of time for that.
I mean, we kind of talked about Witcher 3 already last week.
Yeah, but I wasn't on it, so I don't care, so talk about it again.
What's there to talk about that we didn't cover?
It has gone gold since last
Yeah.
week.
Yeah,
after
it's
that.
true. It went gold either yesterday or today, I want to say.
Yeah.
Which means they're printing it. So,
Yeah, on solid gold disc, this is what happened to Fort Knox, and the Illuminati is right, and...
is that how it
Bible.
works? It's like a stick and it plays in grooves like that. In vinyl.
That's why the game looks so good, it's solid gold. You think you put it in the tray in the Xbox flips over because it's so heavy.
Heavy.
You're going to be getting Witcher 3, I guess?
Yeah, probably. That's probably my next big game. After I just got GTA 5, and I'm playing that. So after that, I think I might get, depending on when I feel like I'm done with GTA 5, I might get Shadow of Mordor and play through that for a bit. Or if it's close enough to Witcher 3, I'll just save up for Witcher 3.
Yeah. Shadow of Mordor is really good.
I will be getting it at some point, but I mean, I might as well
Probably
Witcher
get more
3.
playtime out of The Witcher.
Yeah, but I kind of looking.
You'll definitely get more playtime out of
I've
Witcher.
bought three. My last 3 games have been really huge games, so I kind of just want a smaller game, just I can beat in 30 hours and not have to worry about every single side quest. And
Get Battlefield Hardline.
no,
How long is that?
I don't know.
Have you seen,
I think the campaign.
have you
clocks
seen
out at 5
Angry
hours.
Joe's review?
Yeah.
He wasn't happy.
A lot of people weren't happy with that game.
That's true, yeah.
I still want to play it just because of the whole Cops and Robbers thing.
I'll wait until it's $10 in 15 years because it's an EA game.
I was gonna say on Steam, but then,
Nope.
then I realized.
Yeah.
Okay, so Witcher 3.
Mad Max. When the trailer dropped for that, was it this week or last week?
Yeah, a new trailer for Mad Max.
Is that this week?
I think it was this
I
week.
want to say it was this week.
If
yeah.
it was last week, we didn't talk about
Yeah,
it,
it's
so
been
we
very
can talk
early.
about
Yeah,
it.
I'm very excited for Mad Max.
Me too.
Very, very. It might be one of, if not my most anticipated movie of the year.
Yeah.
So Mad Max is, for
It was
those of
last
you who don't
weekend,
know, it's a movie about in a world where there's no gas. People ran out of gas. Was it?
It's a movie.
No, the first
It is
one.
a movie. Mad Max is a movie.
No, but is that like the premise of the first one? That's what caused the apocalypse? Is everybody ran out of oil or gas or something? Was it?
I'm not sure what caused the apocalypse.
But anyway, it's an apocalypse. It was shot in
Hence
in
all
the
of
Australian
muscle
outback,
cars in
wasn't
the
it?
movie.
It was the biggest grossing Australia film for a while.
Oh yeah, it's through and through Australian.
And
It's never been not Australian.
okay,
Hence the main car is an Australian. What is it? A Falcon XB or something?
yeah.
And
Anyway, so the new one is
Mad
a reboot.
Max is Australian.
Yeah.
Huh?
Is it a reboot?
Mel Gibbons.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, actually. I did hear one of the things that makes me really intrigued about the movie is I heard that the director was really inspired by silent film when making it. And so I think he's going to go dialogue minimal,
Yeah.
action and craziness heavy. But
Well, it's the same director as the other Mad Max films. It's not
Yeah.
that's why I don't really see it as a reboot.
Right, yeah, because it's a continuation of his work with the
It's
franchise.
just like
same
Mad
character,
Max,
though?
but given a much bigger
Is
budget.
it the same character?
Yeah,
Oh, it's a reboot.
it might be.
If the character has the same name and it's a different actor, it's a reboot.
I don't know about that.
That's my definition.
Oh, okay.
Do you think when movie studios go to do like a reboot, so like we're gonna reboot Spider-Man again, they go into like they pick up like the Spider-Man DVD and they go reboot, boop, 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 like from the show, and it's all right, Andrew Garfield, you're
There are
Spider-Man.
very few people that will get that reference.
Yeah, that was a 1%er.
Might get fired. If like, what the hell's wrong with this guy?
The silent films thing is interesting, though.
Yeah, I think that's a nice approach.
I made the observation last night driving home from a movie that this is the opposite. Because Tom Hardy was in a film called Locke, where basically all it was him driving around very calmly talking. So we think that he chose Mad Max because he's driving around in a car not talking and he's in nothing but action.
I like dialogue minimal movies for the most part. Mm-hmm. One of the reasons I like to drive so much is because it took that approach. It was very minimal on the dialogue.
Oh, right on, yeah.
Aaron didn't like it for that same reason, but
Well, I liked it for, or I didn't like it for a couple of
but that
reasons.
was one of the reasons you didn't like it, though.
Well,
You
I
thought he was
felt-
just socially awkward, and
He was just like the most socially awkward guy in the world, and it was a
he
car
wa-
movie,
yeah.
and it wasn't about cars. It was like,
It wasn't.
what's going
I
on
very
with
much
this?
like, just in general, I like commitment to like an ideal. I like it when
Right.
directors come out and say, "This is what I'm trying to accomplish," because it's an ambitious move. Because other directors might not want to do that because, if I don't accomplish it, then everyone's gonna know this is what I meant, and I can't say, "Oh, I actually meant to accomplish this other thing." The you remember after The Room came out, right? Tommy Wiseau said it was a comedy.
No, Tom.
And by doing this, you restrict basically your hands are tied, and it takes a lot of confidence, I think, to go out and say, this is what I'm inspired by, and here's what I plan to do. So I like that a lot.
Yeah, but nobody believed Tommy Wiseau.
But yeah, but nonetheless, what I'm saying is you can't say it. Like, if
Yeah.
you can't go back and say, oh, well, what I actually meant to do was this.
I don't know that like if you're in the public eye and you're creating art, I don't know that you should come out and try to define what your intention was.
It's risky, yeah.
Because something like that is mostly interpretation. It's like, oh no, you're stupid. It's supposed to be this.
Speaking
Right,
of
yeah.
that, we saw the movie It Follows last night, and that's a movie where the main villain of the movie is the director said he specifically left it open to interpretation. Aside from the interpretation everybody got with the monster is supposed to be symbolic of sexually transmitted infections. It's really fucking obvious.
Right.
The
I swore there, sir. You're gonna have to.
Man, all right, yeah.
Save it before you rip it, though. This time.
What?
Save the audio before you rip the...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll do. Yeah, I messed that up last week. Do you want me to review that right now?
Yeah, well,
All
that's why I had the segue.
Oh, okay, yeah. Good segue, Adam. Rock on. I'm told that pointing out segues maybe ruins segues.
They totally do.
We'll see.
It totally does.
All right, so It Follows is a horror film, an independent horror film that was not made in Australia. Finally.
Wow.
I legitimately sitting there, I expected them to have Australian accents when they spoke. I've seen so many of them now. But no, this one's actually set in Detroit. And
We
scary
don't know.
city.
It does the Archer thing where they have cell phones and they drive around in like 1980s SUVs and like the girl has a Kindle, but like the TV has one of those knobs that go like clunk 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 clunk. You know those knobs? Clunk 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 clunk. Sorry, I had to do it for the camera.
Sweet.
the TV has a knob on it, is what Adam was trying to say.
Yeah, but it's like an old like hardcore TV knob.
Every TV knob is an old TV. No modern TV has a knob of any kind.
Yeah, but it's like a super old hardcore TV knob.
I wanna buy a TV company and force them to put knobs on their television.
It's like stuck on the side of a flat screen.
That's awesome being an participle. There's a knob on the TV.
But actually,
Yeah.
the movie is not only set in Detroit, but it actually makes use of that setting. We get a lot of really interesting scenes of Detroit, and it uses a lot of the city's sort of more eerie elements. to sort of support its atmosphere.
Been completely abandoned.
A lot of it, yes. It's shot.
Just regular Detroit.
Well, there's
Yeah.
It's like this is a Visit Detroit ad at the end of the movie.
they do a lot of like they do sort of the 8 Mile thing where they contrast, one side of 8 Mile versus the other side of 8 Mile. And it's actually really impressive. Everything about this movie is made to support its atmosphere. The soundtrack is really good. It's kind of
You would like the soundtrack. It's like a soundtrack that it's basically inspired by like the same kind of soundtrack for like Far Cry 3, Blood Dragon, or like the Goonies soundtrack. So very synth poppy. Yeah.
It's kind of in a lot of scenes. It's kind of it's an uncomfortable soundtrack, which I like. Like the sound editing is made such that it's actually a little too loud in places, but appropriately too loud. Yeah. Like it's uncomfortably loud at times, which is good. It only makes to make the scenes even more impactful.
So what's the movie about?
What? Well, it would be. It would be wrong of me to spoil too much. It's a horror movie.
It might be a monster, might not be a monster.
Was it an Addams Family prequel?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Suffice
Probably
to say,
a couple jump scares in there.
There are a few, although
actually the movie mainly relies on genuine like creepiness and terror for scares as opposed to jump scares. It does the thing where you think there's going to be a jump scare and there's nothing at all.
There's a lot of tension building.
And the only jump scares at all there's a couple when you're not like there's one where the girl is, and this is not a spoiler, but she's at the very beginning of the movie. She's looking at her mirror, and a ball hits her window, and everybody jumped in the theater. But it's not really a jump scare. It's just a ball hit the window, and it was
loud. You jump at him?
I did,
That's a jump scare though. It's just like
but it's not. But it wasn't. It wasn't like one of those things where that's how the movie was mainly getting its horror, was through things jumping out at you. Because that wasn't a scene where you would think a jump scare would come out. And it wasn't. I don't think it was actually meant for all that many scares. It was just like, get the heart pumping. Whereas most of the scares in the movie are from its creepy atmosphere. And honestly, the acting was really good.
The performances were all appropriate, which is impressive. They're all fairly young actors, it seemed. So that was quite good.
Nobody. They're all new as well. I didn't see any like.
As far as I know, I'm not
familiar with.
familiar with any of them.
Yeah.
Have you guys been afraid in a movie in a while?
Last time I was afraid at a movie, it was when I was watching Paranormal Activities 2, and it was only because I went up to use the washroom, and when I came out of the washroom, my friends had clustered around the door and scared the crap out of me as I came out, and they, that was bad.
I can't remember the last time I was afraid or like feared in.
I watched. When I was little, my cousin showed me Blair Witch Project, and I was like 8.
Yeah,
so
it would have been a long time ago.
I was pretty freaked out by that. And I remember I went back much later and watched it was on TV, something like Chucky or Leprechaun or some really terrible horror movie from the 80s. And I'm like, I'll watch this and see if it's scary. And I'm watching it, I'm like, this is so bad, it's scary.
This is probably the best horror movie I've seen in a long time.
Is it?
Yeah.
A very long time, actually.
And it's not overly frightening. Like, there are frightening parts, and you do come out feeling, that was a legitimate horror movie. But it's never... Like, because we saw a commercial for Insidious 3, or a trailer for Insidious 3, and at the beginning of It Follows, and that is a movie that's trying way too hard to be a horror film. And this movie just takes its time and is not, it allows it to be what it is. You never feel like this movie's trying too hard.
Though it's a really bare bones approach to horror. It takes all of horror's essential elements and doesn't do a lot on top of it. It's sort of a reverse Babadook in that way, where the Babadook took horror and then added a few sort of storytelling stylistic elements, and then on top of that, went for sort of thematic depth. This is not that. This is just very basic. It's based primarily on getting a reaction out of you with the tension it builds.
But it built a lot of... I feel like a lot of the character and a lot of the emotions of the story, unlike the Babadook. Where the Babadook's, which is the other horror movie I saw this year, where that movie was all about building scares and stuff out of the acting and out of the characters and things like that. This movie builds a lot of the scares and characters out of the camera work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
A lot of the you get a lot of character development via camera shots and very minimalistic acting. because especially the male friend, I forget his name,
Paul.
Paul. A lot of his character is developed just from the camera focusing on him in weird angles, and it develops how he's feeling. Or the sister. The sister has a similar thing as well.
Yeah. But yeah, suffice to say, I was quite impressed.
Yeah, it was really good.
We're
We
going
had
to
to see
take
the Torbay Road Mall, or the Topsail Road Mall, sorry. So, that was the thing.
Keep yelling.
Now we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I wanted to talk about Daredevil.
Okay.
And we are back with the Pixel Junkies podcast. So before the break, me and Adam did a quick review of It Follows, and now I wanted to talk about Daredevil. Wrong mouse. Okay, yes. So Daredevil, for pretty much everyone knows, I think by now, it's a Netflix original series. It started last Friday. Actually, yeah, it came out last Friday, which would have been the 10th.
Yeah.
I made my way through the series now. I didn't binge watch this one as such. I actually took my time with it, and I enjoyed taking my time with it, watching just 1 or 2 episodes a night. You can binge watch it in a day, sure, but it's a nice experience to drag out a little bit, I think.
I heard it was kind of designed around the idea of binge watching it. It plays very much into the, I finished this one, I want to watch the next one right away.
It does, but I gotta say, I liked the experience, as long as you don't watch a lot of other stuff in between. That's the thing, you don't want to get distracted from the series, you want to be up to date with all the little tiny details, because they will, become important in time.
Yeah.
It's the kind of program that answers all the questions it asks, which is a nice approach, but it doesn't answer any of the questions that weren't asked.
So does it live up to the movie?
I haven't seen the entire movie.
Still haven't seen the movie.
But what I have seen of the movie, it definitely at least lives up to the movie, we could say. It's probably even a little better. And the performances are all satisfactory. It's also created by Drew Goddard, who, a lot of people know now because he's unfortunately part of this news story about a lawsuit with regards to Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah.
But
how can that even be a thing now after that, at this point? The movie's like 3 or 4 years old, isn't it?
Well, someone pointed out, I'm not going to say anything, but, it's interesting that Age of Ultron's about to come out.
Yeah.
And, there's quite a lot of publicity about Age of Ultron. And so, this would be, in terms of publicity, this is a good time to sue Joss Whedon.
I heard that.
I think.
The guy who was stirring up the lawsuit, what I read, I think it was a quote. He said, Joss Whedon used my book as inspiration for this movie.
Yeah.
And I think that right there was you just gave them the case. Used as inspiration.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't say copied.
Yeah.
Blatantly copied. You took concepts of my idea and then evolved them. That is everything in our society.
If that was the case, then George Lucas should be suing Christopher Paolini for Aragon, because Aragon is just Star Wars but with swords and sorcery.
Hitler should be suing George Lucas.
Who?
Hitler was making
because
World War II inspiration and stuff.
Oh.
So Daredevil takes place. It's part of the
that joke dropped so hard it made the atom bomb look like a firecracker. Just
another World War II thing.
yeah.
Sorry, carry on.
Daredevil takes place in the MCU canon.
Yes.
So it's very much in the same universe as
but
Avengers.
If for some reason you didn't watch the other stuff in the MCU, you don't have to understand this.
Is there any crossover at all?
There's references at best, but you don't even need you don't even need to know that the references are part of the MCU.
Right.
This is very, very, very minor connection.
But I mean, do they reference the fact that New York was almost destroyed by
in the
aliens?
first episode?
They reference it once, and then basically never again.
Okay.
So did they bump shoulders with S.H.I.E.L.D. at any point, or did they mention them?
No.
Shield is gone. Spoilers. Spoilers.
Spoilers for what?
Captain America and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Although
Have
everybody
you
at this
seen
point
Agents
knows.
of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
I've seen up to...
I haven't seen any of it. Please don't spoil things.
I've seen up to the end of season 1.
Okay. So, what do they mention? What I'm talking about is, do they mention Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
No, it's never mentioned at all.
It's nice to see a street-level superhero, because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is about globe-trotting super agents. And
pretty much a spy show.
yeah, and the all the big Marvel movies are about big superheroes. So it's nice to see a street level superhero in the Marvel universe, like tackling like crime bosses and gangs and stuff. Not that all superheroes should be about that, but it's nice, like in comics, it's nice to see a mix of both street and world saving heroes.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not a big Marvel guy. I'm more familiar with DC, particularly with their films and animated series. Are sort of my bread and butter.
Right.
But I think this has a lot of the things I like about DC shows in it. It has a lot of the storytelling I like. Like Adam says, it's very ground level. There's a lot of, particularly at the beginning, I actually wish they did more of it as the series goes on. There's a lot of really nice fight scene choreography. A lot of really, down to earth fight choreography.
Oh, it was the same guy that does Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, is it really?
It might be.
Oh, okay. Well,
it is.
So a lot of that is actually very good and very realistic. Is as realistic as you get when it comes to superhero combat. Right. I wish they had stayed that trend as the series goes on, because that sort of falls by the wayside as the series goes on. They get a little more drastic. I wish they had sort of brought it down a little bit. There's a great villain played by Vincent D'Onofrio, who I'm not sure what a lot of people will know him from, but I certainly remember him, especially from Law & Order Criminal Intent.
He plays Kingpin.
In?
Daredevil.
Oh yes, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a funny noise. Oh.
He's actually very good in Criminal Intent, which is, admittedly not the TV critics' favorite program, I don't think, but he's good in it, and he's really good in this. He has a great voice for the role. And this show is a lot about building atmosphere, actually, and building sort of an aura around its villains. There's a bit of... They get a bit carried away with the villains, without spoiling anything, suffice to say, if every villain can do everything, then villains become less special. If you get every villain that can do everything, you can run a huge crime unit, underground crime, smuggling heroin, and you're also like a ninja. Yeah. Like that's a little ridiculous. Yeah. But beyond that, I just really
in the comics, Kingpin is like he's mainly just a crime boss, and this is not spoiling anything. This is from like comics in the 90s, so but he's a big crime boss, but he's also like he looks like obese. But at one point, Spider-Man goes to punch him, and Kingpin pulls him into a bear hug. And he's like, all of this is muscle, and apparently he's just really
all the crime bosses are like that in this movie.
Yeah,
or this television series. Every single one of them can do stuff like that. It's weird. But
so they're all literally end of level bosses, as it were, not just crime bosses. Like the final fight that Daredevil has to face.
They're really good at martial arts. But what makes up for everything, and these are small little comments I'm pointing out. Let's get this out of the way. I don't want to delve too much into the little nitty gritty. This is a really fun show. I had a great time. It's great to watch. It's just got a very good vibe, a great pace.
I'm definitely looking forward to starting watching it.
Absolutely, great characters. You'll connect with over as the series goes on. It's just another powerful Netflix original series.
I'm looking forward to Darkwing Duck, the show.
You would agree that this is a good way of doing a superhero sort of thing?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very well done. Netflix, again, targeting of course it is a wide appeal kind of superhero show, don't get me wrong, but again targeting a specific audience, fans of superhero things. They're just continuing the trend. So far they got supernatural drama, anime, political drama, and now superhero.
I've heard that this is probably the best superhero non-animated superhero TV show to come out. That's accessible from a wide street audience, because people didn't really like the Shield. People didn't, heroes.
Not the Shield.
Well, what what's the one I'm thinking of?
The Shield. It was about the Thing.
What?
Another flight joke.
No, the Shield is a cop show.
Oh well, there was one
the
show.
The main character in the Shield played the Thing in Fantastic.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah. Right, Michael Chiklis, right? Yeah. That's his name, right?
Anyway, there was the one show that was terrible. Misfits.
Dude.
Misfits is not super popular.
It's not popular enough, yes.
And Heroes died after season, was it 1 or 2?
3.
Okay.
wait, no, it might have been during season 3, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Although, yeah, I'm not sure if it's the best, but it's very good, and it's certainly the best one I can recall in the modern day that I've seen, at least. Although, to be honest, I haven't been very well keeping up with my live-action superhero shows. Haven't seen Arrow yet. I've been meaning to watch that for about a billion years, and I haven't seen The Flash, and I've been meaning to watch that for a billion years.
I've heard that The Flash is kind of just okay at the moment, but apparently the season finale is going to feature Gorilla Grodd, who is a gorilla, and he's really intelligent. It was made in the 60s.
Sweet name.
Yeah. He's made in the 60s. What do you want?
Are they going to make him CGI? I would hope they make him CGI.
Well, instead of having an actual gorilla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some trained gorilla with a stupid hat or something.
It's like glue a piece of carpet or something. And
You know what's the
a hat to hide the chains.
You know what's really, I don't know if it's sad or awesome, but he's only one of 3 DC supervillains that are actually gorillas, because there's Gorilla Grodd, there's Mr. Malad, and there's the hyperhumanoid. Yeah. Okay. What do you want to talk about, Aaron? What do you want to talk about? No, let's talk about
how many gorillas are in
the Marvel
universe?
No.
In the Marvel universe. Is there Gorilla Man?
No, I don't think so. There's actually, in the DC universe, there's a city of gorillas that just is in. I'm not even kidding. There's a Skrilla city.
Gorilla City?
Yeah, that's what it's called. Look it up.
Is that any more ridiculous than Planet of the Apes?
No.
Yes.
It sounds like the same situation to me.
No, because this is just like one small area that has
It's a domed camouflage city in the middle of Africa.
Picturing
filled with gorillas.
Driving to work.
Seriously, look up Gorilla City.
Like, get that human out of our city.
You're describing Gorilla City. Have you heard of it before? They hate humans.
Anyways,
it's a thing.
Suffice to say, watch Daredevil.
Too many important things this week to be talking about gorillas in the city.
See, the thing of it is, Netflix has been really killing it lately, releasing Bloodline and then Daredevil. The sort of issue that's going to happen is they might sort of have a I can't come up with a comparable example, but suffice to say that now Daredevil's out and there's so much hype about it, and rightfully so. It's a great show, but people are going to forget about Bloodline. And that's really good, too.
I don't even know what Bloodline is.
It's another Netflix original series. You remember, I think what?
Does everyone who watch Netflix watch every single show that they have coming up?
No, I wouldn't say.
I'm just wondering if these are all different baits, basically. We'll cater to this market, this market, and this market.
Well, certainly they do that. Yeah,
all of them will come.
They definitely do the target audience thing. But I mean, I think Bloodline is a fairly wide appeal sort of family drama. And I think it's going to get vastly overshadowed, particularly by viewers coming from the internet, hearing the sort of internet hype.
Probably.
Yeah.
Do you know that Olivia Munn is playing Psycho Locke in the X-Men movie?
I heard that.
Yes,
too.
yes.
Is she still your favorite?
What?
She was your Olivia Munn was your. Was it Olivia Munn? Oh, Olivia Wilde. Never mind.
Same person. So my question, my question is this: which other superheroes would you like to see given the same treatment as Daredevil?
Luke Cage and Iron Fist.
Yeah?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Why?
Because Luke Cage was Power Man, and then there was Iron Fist, but he doesn't go by Power. But they were street. It was kind of like the A-Team, but with superheroes, and they were just low-level guys, and you would have to pay them, but they would come and protect you from from gangs or whatever, or they'd be a mix of A-Team and detectives and stuff like that. And it was just a really cool concept for comics, and unfortunately, they don't do that anymore. But I would love to see a show centered around that, where they kind of they're traveling around in a panel van or something, like an homage to the A-Team, but just with superheroes. I was honestly hoping that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was going to feature both Luke Cage and Iron Fist into as two of the characters instead of just random S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. I was hoping they were going to be the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., as it were.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. does have one or two superheroes, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I was hoping it was going to be all. I was expecting. This was back before.
You were hoping for good superheroes.
No,
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, I was expecting the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to be Agent Coulson's leading our own kind of private team of low-powered superheroes they belong to S.H.I.E.L.D., unlike the Avengers, who are their own thing.
I would actually, I mean, in terms of the same treatment as Daredevil, I want to see Netflix do an animated superhero series.
Yeah.
Next.
That'd be great.
That's what I want to see.
Not
Because
Batman, though.
We can't have too many of those. Not Batman. I agree.
I think the Avengers should be a TV show on HBO, and just get Joss to do it with the same budget that they have for the movies, like Game of Thrones.
That'd be good.
I think it's a great time to bring the Punisher back in some form, and I think Daredevil's a great opportunity.
Green
bring
Lanterns.
the Punisher back.
Right? Yeah. You mean like a good precedent, or like a?
Well, even a cameo to start.
Green
him
Horse.
off.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
same
Right
thing.
on. Yeah.
What? No!
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
Green thingy.
Green Lantern.
What about Green Lantern?
It's a show for Netflix to do as an animated series.
Absolutely. The last Green Lantern animated series was awesome. Have you guys seen Green Lantern the animated series? Do you guys have Netflix?
Yeah.
It's on that.
Okay.
It's good. It's good. And it's actually got a lot of sci-fi elements for a superhero program.
Well, Green Lantern always had sci-fi elements. Well, not
Well,
always,
yeah,
but
but-
you know, a lot of it does.
But like they play it up in this. Like, and I like
Watch out for that guy called Sinestro, though. Who he's the purple dude with the really evil looking mustache and the goatee.
Oh, the obvious bad guy.
Yeah, he's an obvious bad guy. So watch out for him.
Okay.
the now we're gonna take
Seriously, did the Guardians of the Galaxy or the universe not realize, like, hey, we might want to watch out for the Sinestro guys? Like, nah, let's give him a super powerful alien weapon. Anyway,
we're gonna take a quick breakdown. When we come back, and
turning
we are back
Japanese. I think I'm turning Japanese.
on the Pixel Junkies podcast.
YouTube audience is not getting
Way
that.
to carry the ad into the thing, into the video. This is high quality video.
Yeah, Adam. So, what else happened this week, guys?
Batman.
Batman versus Superman.
Some guy
I will
came up with Batman. Batman is a new superhero.
So, Batman happened. What's up with that?
Dracula's trying to rebrand himself.
Yeah, so Batman versus Superman got a trailer.
The trailer leaked a few days ahead before it was supposed to.
It leaked with Spanish subtitles.
Yeah, it's in English, and it was like a bootleg.
Oh, apparently
trailer.
it's actually come out now.
Okay. I guess they decided to just release the thing.
Rory, send us back in the ad so we can watch it.
Anyway, I'm not a particular DC fan, so I probably shouldn't talk about it.
I'll talk about it. I'm the comics guy. So, from what it seemed like, I saw the terrible version of the trailer, not the actual released version. So, but what it seemed like to me is they're trying to set up a situation where you see it, the camera, there's talking in the background where it's just like, he's a savior. It's like, no, he's a demon. He's an oppressor. You know, blah blah blah. And it zooms in on a statue of Superman, and as it revolves around, it shows Superman like, I don't know, like holding up something, or just, you know, like
They're idolizing him or something.
or like a heroic pose, and then underneath it's on his shirt above or on his like chest over the Superman symbol, it's false god or something like that.
Yeah, that's what it says.
And then it shows a couple of flashes of like him.
Symbol means hope, Adam.
Yeah,
That obvious S shape means hope.
no hope, man. It shows just a bunch of like stuff like, you know, the Batwing, you know, shooting at people because that has guns now because, you know, Batman.
Batman always kills people in the comics.
Yeah. Actually, we joke about that, but he actually, remember in the first like Tim Burton Batman movie where the Batmobile rolls into the warehouse filled with goons.
does
He
kill a couple
drops the
guys.
bombs
Yeah.
and kills everyone. Like levels the building.
That was a good movie.
Was it?
The first
Yeah, it
Tim
was.
Burton Batman.
It
Yeah,
was, yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
And then it shows just
Wait, you got something against Michael Keaton or?
you get to see your first really good look at the Batman costume, and the Batman costume looks to be inspired by the one worn by Batman in Frank Miller before he went crazy. He's really excellent work, The Dark Knight Returns, because you get the blue eyes and it looks to be kind of more armored. So
You
it looks
get
like
the little tiny
also-
stubby ears.
yeah, and it's
There's also an animated film. Just throwing that out there. For
which is fantastic.
It
You
is
should
good.
go and watch it.
It
It's
looks like he's like a Lego block, though. Like, the lights look really weird.
yeah, but it looks to be
Like a Lego head piece.
Batman has had several different versions of what fans have dubbed the Justice Buster armor, where it's armor that he's created so that if the Justice League ever becomes oh, surprise, Aaron doesn't like it. It exists, he hates it.
No, he doesn't like the name, and I don't like the name either.
Justice Buster? Isn't he on the Justice League?
Yeah, but it's in case the Justice League ever goes rogue.
Yeah, it's still.
I don't trust any of you guys, so I built this.
I'm totally with Aaron. It's
like you've never known anything about Batman before. There's a comic.
Absolutely not.
There's a comic, like a really well done comic series, where Lex Luthor manages to steal Batman's contingency plans for having to deal with
Mark
each
Zuckerberg.
of the, yes, for having to deal with each of the. You know what? Why don't we talk about something you like and shit all over that?
Haha, you gotta mark that again. I don't know. Star Wars trailer.
You're the worst.
I don't give a flying fuck.
You know, you're making my job really hard. Right?
Yeah, I know.
I gotta have them all fired up. It's awesome.
So, I don't even care anymore. Star Wars.
All right, so Star Wars.
Superman,
Someone else talk about this.
Superman and Batman, it's gonna suck. Everything's gonna suck. DC sucks. Marvel all the way. If you like DC, I hate you.
I like a lot of DC stuff.
No, I hate you.
You hate all DC stuff?
I hate Batman with, the animated series, hate it. Batman itself,
you like all this
hate
stuff.
It.
I like the logo.
I hate it. No, it sucks. Hate it. It's terrible. Move on.
He's trying to use reverse psychology on you, Aaron.
I'm not. I'm really pissed off. Caught myself.
No, I'm not a huge fan of DC stuff, but I'm not going to poop all over it, Adam style. But the Star Wars trailer came out whenever it was yesterday.
Star Wars!
I will.
What?
Second teaser.
Was anybody
I will. Hang
expecting
on. One more thing
Yes.
about.
They announced it, didn't
Yeah, they
they?
said they were going to announce.
Oh, I didn't know that was.
They
I
said they were
know
gonna play another
Battlefront
trailer.
announced that they were going to release something.
Well, they
today.
both said that they were gonna. They said a new for Star Wars, celebration. It was going to be a new teaser trailer for Star Wars and a new Battlefront trailer.
I didn't think it was going to come out as soon. I thought it was just going to be like
The last
They're going to
thing.
announce it at Celebration, and then it'll be like, I don't know, it'll be online next week.
It was
or
a fairly
something.
good. It was a fairly good teaser, actually. I quite liked it.
I want to say one more thing about the Dawn of Justice teaser. Not really terrible. It was a really terrible teaser. It was not great compared to Star Wars, which is the best teaser I've ever seen for a movie ever.
Yeah,
Like-
maybe you shouldn't compare it to that, though.
That was more of a trailer than a teaser, really. The
guess.
DC thing was like,
But even the original Star Wars teaser was better.
it was actually, because it gave that teaser. A teaser should set the atmosphere of the movie. If you're not going to give away the story, the plot, or any of that thing, it should set the tone of what the movie's trying to accomplish. And I think that teaser did this teaser justice.
Yeah.
But the teaser for the Superman versus Batman thing, it just didn't do anything. It was a bunch of I guess actual news journalists saying random lines of dialogue that you couldn't hear because they're all playing over the top of each other. So I was like, all right, whatever. Everything was black, so you couldn't see it, dark. There was a Batman suit, and then Superman turning around, and then
And he has a car. I think he's holding up a car or something.
Yeah, it's like, what? All right.
There's really nothing. There's nothing substantial. But in the Star Wars teaser, we find out a lot of information. So there's going to be spoilers for the teaser. So watch that if you haven't watched it yet. Seriously, what's wrong with you?
If you don't want to know anything about it at all.
Or if you just don't like Star Wars, in which case, don't even watch this podcast.
Yeah, I don't even want to know you. There's you get to first good look at the villain, Cole Ren, I think his name is.
Kilo?
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren. Yeah.
Got it eventually.
Now I know how to say it.
Kylo Ren, you get to see him. You get to see what more the new stormtroopers more in depth. You find out, although not through the trailer, it's been found out that the rebellion and the Empire are now called the Resistance and the First Order. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You don't find that on the trailer.
No, I
said that.
Yeah.
And it looks to that. I'll talk about. Well, the trailer begins with on a desert that is not Tatooine. It's Jakku, Jukko, or Jokku, Joku.
Some other planet.
Yeah, and you see a decaying, rusted out X-wing next to a destroyed Star Destroyer that's sticking out of the sand. That was real. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, this is going to be a good trailer.
Yeah, that was almost like you're not, because you're looking at the dot moving in the foreground, and then you see the huge thing in the background. You're like, oh,
yeah,
that's not
J.J. Abrams does that a lot.
But that felt a lot like Star Wars to me, where you see these really big. I don't know. That just felt really indicative of Star Wars, and I can't really.
The most noticeable thing of that entire teaser to me was the film.
It was really
that
crisp.
movie was shot on film. It wasn't digital.
Yeah.
And it's really noticeable.
Well,
in the
actually, do you
teaser.
know that there was this big thing, right? Like some directors are going digital, but some directors like Christopher Nolan, Quentin Tarantino actually, prefer the 35 millimeter.
Yeah, because it upscales better. It holds up better over time.
And the Kodak was going to stop producing 35 millimeter, but then they all like signed a petition and got together and got some production companies involved to get them to keep making it,
and
which is great.
Because this trailer, like,
it just feels more organic.
This trailer, like, physically looks great. It's probably the best physically looking trailer I've ever seen. It looks crisp. It looks clear. And that's because, like you said, the film, but also most of the effects in this film, besides from some of the space flights and some of the, the explosions and stuff like that, or the laser blasts, I mean, are real. Yeah. The stormtroopers are real. Even the little ball droid, which I have no idea how that works. That's a real droid. R2-D2 is real. Chewbacca is real. The stormtroopers are real.
I can spoil the magic for you if you want. I figured out how it works.
Tell me after.
Okay.
But no, now. Tell me now.
Okay, tell him now.
It has the wheel is weighted. The base of the droid is weighted with omnidirectional wheels, which has a magnetic weighted sensor in the middle, and an RF sensor chip that goes to the top one, which is also on magnetic wheels. So these wheels move, and it controls the top one.
Oh.
So.
Okay. It's called a BB-8, right? The new droid.
Props to the guys that figured that out. Pretty awesome technology.
I think the stormtroopers look great.
Yeah, I like the new design.
Because it feels a little bit more sinister.
It does. It feels like the designs are cleaner, and I think the lack of design is what makes it more like evil. And
because the stormtroopers, when they first came out back in the 70s and the 80s, they were, obviously very, faceless entity, for this empire. Very, obviously like a scary kind of shock trooper. But now, because they're a cultural icon at this point, it's nice to see they've gotten a design that makes them a little bit more frightening as cannon fodder for this villain. The villain himself, Kylo Ren. Kylo. Sorry, I haven't heard his name pronounced, so I'll keep messing that up until I do.
Until he hears someone in the movie say it. Like, saying it wrong.
Say it, Kilo or something.
It's
right the whole time.
He looks cool though. Like, I think he looks like a cool villain.
A lot. I don't know.
He
looks. Everyone's saying this, reminiscent of Revan's mask.
I think it's more like inspired by.
Yeah.
Where did they have the time to come up with all the designs and build all this stuff?
I don't know, but they actually built the X-Wings.
Because it doesn't seem like that long ago that they said, like, oh, we're making episode 7.
Yeah.
And then they made designed, built all this stuff, and shot the movie, like, since. Like, where did you get time to do that?
The TIE fighters are black now instead of gray, which
I like
is cool.
that. I prefer that, actually.
Trim on the windows or whatever.
Also, the trailer, or teaser, as I recall, picked my favorite track off any of the Star Wars soundtracks, which is Binary Sunset, for its background.
Oh, yeah,
I think that was an excellent choice.
Also had a bit of Yoda and the Force in there. At the very end, because the end is ba-bum, 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 which is what plays when Yoda lifts the X-Wing off, which has to be one of the best scenes in that whole series. When Yoda talks about the... Yeah. Actually, I really want to watch Star Wars now. Just leave and go home and watch it. What else happened in that trailer? You get to see...
we saw the two main characters, Finn and Rey.
Yeah.
For a lot, actually.
Are they the two... Isn't there a third main character as well?
Yeah, there's the X-Wing pilot guy.
Poe Dameron.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Played by Oscar Isaac, who some listeners and viewers will definitely know him as Llewyn Davis from Inside Llewyn Davis, which is an incredible movie, which is on Canadian Netflix. You should all watch it. And he's also in Alex Garland's new film Ex Machina, which I'll be going to see as soon as it comes out.
That looks really good.
You will as well. Yeah, we should all go see it, actually, when it comes out.
The X-Wings themselves, we're going deep in the Star Wars nerd territory here, so leave now. Or here there be dragons. Specifically Kyrat dragons from Tatooine. Yes. So the X-Wings themselves look different. It's like they're upgraded versions, or like X-Wing Mark Bs or something, I would guess, because I did a comparison of the X-Wings from I know.
I saw the names on it. I figured it was like 170X or something like that.
Yeah. And so they're definitely either an X-Wing derivative or inspired by X-Wing.
I like that. Like, the technology in that universe has evolved, because it was always weird for me going from 1, 2, and 3, where everything was really smooth and bubbly, to 4, 5, and 6, where everything was blocky, obviously because of the technology at the time.
Yeah.
But now it's sort of like a hybrid between both, so you can see the advancement of everything. It's cool. It fits it all together.
Yeah. And I like there's a new Star Destroyer or Star Destroyer type, because the scene where you see a bunch of I'm guessing shuttles head towards the Star Destroyer is not an Imperial class Star Destroyer. It's a new type, because it doesn't have, the nose is different, and the command tower is lower on the module, and it's thicker overall.
Yeah.
So that's not an Imperial
that
one.
too.
Did you? Or are you lying?
It's cool though.
Black Chrome Trooper.
Yeah.
He or she is cool, because a lot of
Super
people
awesome.
think that the girl who plays is a Brienne.
That was like
Game of
Turbo
Thrones?
Fett.
Yeah,
Sorry?
is it Brienne in
Fett.
Game of Thrones?
Brienne from Game of Thrones, is that who you're thinking of? Really tall?
Yeah.
Tarth.
Yeah.
The girl who plays her is supposed to have a role in this movie, and a lot of people think that she's playing this bounty hunter who's decked out.
Oh, I hope it's her. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be awesome. You get to see. I think you get to see Luke in that trailer as well, because there's a bit where he's like, the Force is strong in my family.
You see a robotic hand,
and it's Luke's hand, or it's the hand that Luke lost.
It is that.
It's the right arm, and he's touching R2D2. So it could be Luke. And during that point in the trailer, they're doing voiceover from Return of the Jedi, where Luke's saying, the Force is strong in my family. My father has it. I have it. When he says I have it, you see that figure touching R2D2.
I don't think it's from the movie. He says,
"Oh, is it?
I have
but
it.
He has
my
it.
father had it. My sister has it, and you have it."
Okay,
So if it was from,
but
Return
he
of
says
the
it.
Jedi,
But he says it somewhere along Return of the Jedi.
he does, but
Okay.
he doesn't say, "And you have it."
Okay.
He says, "My sister has it," and looks at Leia.
I think he says you have that power too, or something.
I'm pretty sure he just says, "My sister has it, had it, or has it."
Yeah, and then he
And then
says
she
yes, and
figures
then the
it
next
out.
word in the line is yes.
Yeah, but I mean in the trailer. That's what I'm saying. Or
Oh,
teaser.
okay, yeah.
Anyway, when he gets to "My sister has it" in the teaser, you see somebody hand Rey, the female lead,
Yeah.
a lightsaber,
Yeah.
and it looks like a female hand.
Yeah.
So that might have been Leia's hand.
Because Leia is Force sensitive, so which she can use the Force.
Well, Rey has to be Leia's daughter, right? And she looks just like her.
That's what I'm thinking, probably.
And the X-Wing
Which
pilot
is-
is probably Luke's kid.
Or I don't know.
I don't know. He could be either, I guess.
I was kind of hoping for Jaina, Jason, and Skywalker, Solo, and I was hoping for Ben Skywalker from the Expanded Universe to come back. Do you think Grand Admiral?
None of that's so.
Yeah, I know it's not
canon
there, but I was
anymore.
hoping they were going to reuse it. Do you think Grand Admiral Thrawn is
Nope.
going to? No. Okay.
I don't think we'll see any of that.
I saw the guy I follow on Twitter. He was saying how Grand Admiral Thrawn is going to be in this movie, played by Benedict Cumberbatch,
That
who
be
would
good-
honestly do a half decent
that would be
job.
a good fit, but we won't see him.
You'd have to be blue though.
No, it's a very different world than what the Expanded Universe was.
If I was to guess as to what happened, I would imagine that since the fall, the Empire fell shortly after.
Well, I mean, you don't just kill, you don't, World War II aside, you don't just kill the lead and then the war's
well, I mean, the war was over when the leader was killed.
Yeah,
but what I'm saying is the rebellion destroyed Darth Vader and the Emperor and the Death Star, and then they were able to finish off. They were able to push out the Imperials. And then I'm guessing something happened to the New Republic that they set up, and the New Republic got changed into this First Order, and the people, the heroes and stuff had to form the resistance against the First Order, who have been kind of co-opted by the Imperial, by these bad guys. Mm-hmm. That would be my guess. I have no idea because literally no information has been given.
Yeah.
Got to see some Stormtrooper armor derivatives as well. You got to see Snowtrooper and Flame Trooper, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I was kind of hoping they wouldn't go for the whole rebellion aspect again.
I guess
I would have liked to see after they fight.
Ow.
I'm sorry, I keep doing it.
So put
It's
your
in
hand
the
on the
worst.
blade.
It's in the worst position possible here. We keep. What was I saying?
I don't
Maybe
know.
lose my
You
train of
didn't-
thought
you
because
didn't
I
want him to
killed
do-
your
You
ears.
didn't want them to do the rebellion thing. You wanted them to do, and then you hit the mic.
Yeah. So I would have.
Yeah, that.
Right. I would have liked to have seen just like a somewhat peaceful sort of thing going on.
Yeah, but we kind of saw that with episode 1.
Yeah.
I mean, not that episode 1 shows that you can't have a peaceful Star Wars movie. I mean, besides the fact that it's called Star Wars, but like,
I like the idea of the Sith working behind the scenes.
Yeah.
More so than in the prequels, because they were like
most of this
they
movie.
popped in like
5
seconds an hour.
Yeah.
Total runtime. It was bad.
This is my apprentice, Darth Maul.
Yeah.
He shall be. I don't know, whatever the line was.
Well, you don't know how long the setup is going to be in this movie. That might be like 3/4 of the movie.
Yeah.
Well, they could explain that in the crawl as well.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if they didn't have a crawl? Like, I think fans would get out and walk out. Just
Yeah.
if the movie started. And there's
20 years have passed and nothing has happened. Now something is happening. ... X-Wings. Resistance.
What if they start off with something before the crawl?
No.
No?
I don't think... How can you slow down to a crawl again? Pardon the pun there. But like...
Well, it's like
intro action scene like James Bond, then crawl. It's like...
James Bond does it.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
But they always have the song like 10 minutes into the movie. They don't start with the song.
Yeah, but that's like...
That's what I'm saying.
That's the James Bond format, but that doesn't work for... I feel like it's that, like... You kind of have to have the crawl at the beginning of the movie, because that's the point of the crawl, is to set up the backstory. Like, that's the crawl. Like...
So
if you're gonna have something before the crawl, then don't have the crawl at all. Just have the title and then move on.
It's like, would what happened before the crawl happen before the crawl story, or is it just like in between the text? I think it would screw it up.
We're confusing people here. Basically, if you're gonna have something before the crawl, then there's no point.
Yeah, I agree with you. Don't.
I think
or the Michael Bay approach, where a rocket comes in and blows up the text as it's like.
I think that the villain, this new Sith with the Claymore, Kylo Ren, got it.
Claymore.
Claymore
Ren? That's his name.
No,
I think he's not going to be
lightsaber.
working with I don't think he's going to be like Darth Vader, where he's going to be a high up position. I think he's going to be more like he's allied with them, but he's not. But he's in it for his own personal gains.
I'd like to see him not even allied with them. I'd like to see him working behind the scenes,
or like as a third,
working behind the scenes of this war going on. He's completely third party, and he'll come in at some point and just wreck everything.
I can see that, but not in a Darth Sidious way where he was kind of playing both sides, but just where he's a figure on the very outside, and he's kind of like just a rogue force. That
I've read somewhere that he's going around collecting Sith artifacts or Jedi artifacts,
and that's why you see, because there's a scene in the trailer where you see Darth Vader's charred helmet left over from the funeral pyre,
right?
And I've seen leaked artwork, like a concept art for the movie, where you see. The character that eventually became Kylo Ren, got it, and you see him holding Darth Vader's skull in like a last poor York pose, or helmet or whatever. I'm assuming the head is no longer inside it. That'd be gross. So I think that's what he's doing. Is he's trying to collect. He's collected Darth Vader's helmet for whatever purpose he's trying to.
Yeah,
he has.
Did they like rebuild him or something?
At the end of their movie, I present you Mecha Vader!
He does the same Frankenstein thing at the end.
Yeah, he has those stupid gold blue eyes. He's like, "Do you bleed, Superman? Do you bleed?"
Oh, that was a terrible line.
Or it was more like,
what was it?
Do you bleed? Next time, catch it.
What did Superman... he was like, "Do you bleed, Superman? Because you're going to." And I was like, oh...
Yeah, I haven't watched the trailer, but now I don't want to.
Yeah, you don't want to. So, coming off of Star Wars, there's more Star Wars, because we also got a trailer for Battlefront.
Mm-hmm.
We sure did.
Yeah.
Looks pretty sweet.
Or how much time do we got left?
4 minutes.
All right, well, let's talk about the trailer. Let's talk about the trailer, then we'll talk about Battlefront for the in the after show.
So, what else happened in the trailer? Teaser.
Well, we can just talk about like what we know about or what we think's going to happen. Because like I honestly, because the only major character that's going to be in this movie that we haven't seen or like directly heard from are Leia, and that's debatable because she might be in that trailer as that hand, and C-3PO, who I know for a fact is going to be in it because he's in all the other ones.
What's Finn's tie?
Wouldn't it be hilarious if he gets blown blown apart in the first 10 minutes of that movie.
Or just like the first scene is
He's
like
in all the other
Master
what?
Luke!
Sorry, he's in all the other what?
movies.
Oh, do we know he's going to be in this one?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's a character. I'm like 99.9%
yeah.
sure. Master Luke. Just his head flies. It's like
Chewie. Chewie's gone for the rest of the movie, trying to put it back together.
Yeah.
Chewie snaps at the beginning of the movie.
He tears his arms off.
Chewie, we're home. And then Chewie snaps and brutally murders Han and C-3PO.
He's actually Kylo Ren.
Yeah, Kylo Ren bursts out of Chewie's
out
long
You're
red
right,
body.
yeah. You're right, C-3PO is in this one, yeah.
Kylo Ren the whole time.
He takes off the helmet and like, I know, and Luke's like, I know who the real villain is, and they pull off Chewie's head. It's like, Kylo Ren! I was like, would have got in the way for it too if it wasn't for you meddling rebellion. And your crazy droid.
So what's Finn's tie to the movie? Because I don't know his relation to any.
I
any
think
other
he's a stormtrooper that realizes that, well, I might be on the wrong side of this thing.
Oh yeah, we blew up a planet.
Yeah.
Whoops.
I was just wondering if, like, both teasers, if he was just like going undercover as a stormtrooper.
I
But I guess,
really, really hope that's not the case.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure if
Probably
it is the case, that'll work out. But he was a stormtrooper in stormtrooper armor in 2 different locations.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that he's a deserted stormtrooper.
I'm wondering if that was like one scene after the other though, but it's probably the former.
Yeah.
I hope.
Maybe he's the no. I'm not even gonna say it.
Is what?
No, I'm not even gonna say it.
Is what?
He's the black stormtrooper in the black stormtrooper armor. Because the Empire's gotten racist. Hey, why do I have to wear this armor? Oh, no reason.
Wouldn't that just be Vader?
I'm gonna hate it if they make him related to either Mace Windu or
They won't do that.
Lando.
They probably won't do
I don't
that
think
one.
he's
I
like,
really hope they don't.
He's definitely not related to Mace Windu, unless it's like exceedingly distantly.
wonder if Samuel
Or
L.
it's
Jackson's
like
gonna,
It would have to be
Mace
like
Windu's secret
Samuel L.
child or
Jackson should
No.
be in this movie again as a different character.
he's Chewbacca. Chewie, we're home. Say what?
Takes out his Damn.
All right, we're going to be cluing up the radio show now.
You threaten
And
my planet with slavery and death.
don't forget, if you're listening on the radio, go on to PixelJunkies.ca where you can get the full hour-and-a-half long video version of the podcast. So, yes, do that.
Goodbye.
And we are back on the Pixel Junkies podcast with the after show. Before the break, before the transition, we were talking about Star Wars, and now we are going to continue talking about Star Wars with the Battlefront stuff.
Yeah, so we got a trailer for the long-awaited Battlefront 3, which is a game that was canceled and we never thought was going to happen because LucasArts closed and Pandemic along with them. And then now it's a thing again. Hooray. I was actually pretty sad to see LucasArts go because they made a lot of really good games, not just Star Wars. Like,
Yeah, they were working on 1313.
which looked awesome.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe that'll come out when they make that Boba Fett movie. The what?
The Bovet.
The Bouvette movie.
Bouvette.
The Chrome Fett
With
movie.
the
I'm excited for that Boba
Tablet.
Fett movie now, to be honest with you.
What?
I'm excited for that Boba Fett movie now.
Yeah.
After seeing, I know it's not fair to, see, my mind is not working tonight.
Fair enough.
very tired.
Andrew just finished exams, so
Yeah.
he's allowed to...
What kind of retarded idea is it to have every exam during the same week?
Oh, we use the R word, everybody.
Because you're supposed to know all of that information.
I'm not making fun of anybody.
Yeah, no.
I'm just saying a word.
You don't like that?
No, it's terrible. It's terrible.
I don't know.
You
I
have
kind
to be
of...
some kind of retarded monkey. I am making fun of that monkey, however.
Gorilla Grodd.
I kind of like it being just like over with after a week and then being able to move on.
It's great when it's over.
Yeah, it's terrible when it's going on. I'm 100%
Yeah,
with you
I
on
mean-
that. Yeah.
Well, you could just not
There's
have exams.
therapy. The universities and colleges have therapy during that week.
They bring in dogs.
Pet therapy.
Oh right, yeah. I've heard about the
What does
puppies.
that say for the mental health of the students? The mental health you're causing the students by having everything done in the same week.
No, fair enough. Yeah.
Stupid ass monkey retard.
But it's all over now. We're all done. We're all done exams now.
Don't exams.
We're all free from that right now. For at least another little while.
Star Wars Battlefront 3.
Your sentence. You were halfway through that.
Yeah, so you were talking about Star Wars 1313, Boba Fett.
Judge! That's the word I was looking for. It's not proper to judge a movie based on a trailer or something, but I was a little worried about Episode 7 before this trailer.
Yeah.
Now I'm very much less so.
I'm kind of in the frame.
Oh.
I'm in a box.
Oh. I'm very much less worried about Star Wars Episode 7 now that I've seen the trailer. And that makes me less worried about all the other Star Wars movies that we're going to see, even though they're not directed by Abrams.
Yeah. It's kind of done... Well, I mean, the first 3 Star Wars movies, 4, 5, and 6, they were all directed by different people, so...
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's possible to have 3 good movies made by 3 different directors.
I'm just glad that this one seems to be setting a high bar. So
yeah.
The next guy's not like, oh, well, just no trouble beating that.
It kind of did an opposite of...
Spielberg set a high bar with Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I was going to say, this kind of did an opposite of Jurassic World trailers, because the more I see that movie, I'm like... Oh, man. There's a scene in the latest teaser trailer for Jurassic World. I'm going to segue for a bit. And where they see a bunch of apatosauruses just dead, strewn out all over this field. And you hear Chris Pratt's just like, she's hunting for sport now. And I'm like, why? She's an animal. Like, animals don't hunt for sport.
But it's
very few of them
mutated, Adam.
Actually, I shouldn't lie. I'm sure there's some animals out there who, besides humans, that hunt for sport. Like I'm sure killer whales do it, or like
lions.
Chimpanzees. No, I don't. I would actually doubt that lions would hunt for sport because it's hard enough to take down a buffalo to eat.
Dumbass retard lions hunt for sport.
Hey guys. No.
Now, wouldn't they just not know what they're supposed to hunt?
Do you think that's what the
They show up and get killed by their prey, and then that's it?
I guess. I like the look of the dinosaur, the new dinosaur called Indominus Rex, which unlike the T-Rex, you can't shorten his name to the I-Rex because that sounds dumb.
Not Turbosaurus.
That was his first name.
Okay.
But I like the look of it, but I don't know. I
have less than no excitement for that movie.
Really?
Yeah.
You're not excited at all by the fact that it is another Jurassic Park movie?
No, not really.
You never even saw the first one.
What I saw some of the old Jurassic Park, and I was like, eh.
I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
You're not invited then.
The only reason I want to see that movie is because Bryce Dallas Howard's in it. That's it.
It's the wrong reason.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. When you walk out of that movie disappointed, I won't be because Bryce Dallas Howard was in it.
I have nothing to say to that because you legitimately got me there.
Also before we get back into the Star Wars, Wonder Woman lost its director and then got a new director, and a lot of people have been talking about it. We lost one You lose an inexperienced director and you get another inexperienced director. Like, it's not qualitatively feels not much different to me.
But I have high hopes for Wonder Woman. It's either going to be Wonder Woman or Captain Marvel because, we have not, and you cannot make this argument, there has never been a good live-action female superhero solo series. There have been good female, live-action superheroes in other shows, but not one where they are the main character. The only possible exception is that character in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. No spoiler, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, but she's not really solo, though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But, the Wonder Woman TV show, that was awful. I mean, the Supergirl movie, that was awful. Catwoman, oh, God!
But
these are all faults of bad writing, not...
Though it could be argued that movies of male-dominated roles in those same eras were also equally horrible.
Well, Wonder Woman came out at the same time as Iron Man. The Wonder Woman TV show, I'm pretty sure.
Daredevil was not good, and neither was Elektra.
Yeah. No, but what I'm saying is there have been good male superhero movies, but there has never been a good female superhero. I think because of that, studios have not tried to do a good one.
Stripperella.
No. God. No. Hell no.
VIP.
When the best live-action comic adaptation of a female character is Tank Girl, you have fucking problems. Because that movie
will do it.
sucked. What?
Marvel will do it at some point.
Yeah, that's why I have really
was
high
Black Widow
hopes for
as
Captain
well.
Marvel, because Captain Marvel is is probably my favorite Marvel hero character. Her favorite, like, I remember in the first comic I read, I'm like, this movie just got announced. Let's see what Captain Marvel is like. And I picked it up and I started to read, and the first thing out of her mouth was, you know what? I really want to watch Star Wars. I've watched Star Wars in the month, and I should watch it again. I'm like, I love you.
I've heard. No,
She's a great character.
I think this might be rumor at this point, but I've heard that the original director of Wonder Woman left because she wanted a more action-focused story, and the studio wanted a more character-focused story, and so they sort of parted creative ways.
I hope
on that front.
I hope they don't do the thing where Wonder Woman is this, I'm a, strong, independent woman character, where Wonder Woman should actually be... The whole point of Wonder Woman that very few people get is that Wonder Woman is supposed to be, like, a really kind and caring person. It's okay to have a woman be a kind and caring person. Wonder Woman is the kind and caring person archetype. She's the kind of... Like, even in the most recent comics written about her, that's what her character is. She's very friendly and sisterly to to good people that she meets, be it male or female. But, like, a lot of comic, writers and stuff just be like, oh, she's an Amazon warrior. She's, she has to be this, badass warrior. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's such a boring character when they could have a movie about this really interesting character who's both a warrior, but also really, kind-hearted and friendly and sisterly and, to most, to the good people.
I'm looking forward to seeing where they go with it. I mean, the movie's come under a lot of flack for its criticism of Gal Gadot in the lead role. I haven't seen her play the role yet. I mean, surely she got the role for some reason. I feel like people are a little too hard on certain casting choices. Like I always say, people came down way too hard on Ben Affleck for Batman, and people did the same thing for this. Again, if there are legitimate reasons, then feel free to say them. But
I don't know Wonder Woman from Mariah Carey, but isn't she supposed to be this like Amazon lady?
Yeah,
person?
I
don't know.
Her backstory, her mother is the queen of Themyscira, the home of the Amazons, and she has like 8 different backstories, but the one I'm most familiar with is her mother made her out of clay, I think, and got Zeus to breathe life into her, and so she couldn't have a daughter herself, but she got Zeus to make her like this.
Cannot handle this.
Listen, it was made in the 40s. What do you want from me?
Like,
You don't like Clay Lady?
DC on the outside, it's like, I get into that. And then you read the story and it's like, what? Where the fuck did this come from?
Yeah, but
How many drugs were you on?
That was the first backstory. There's been like, she's had like
Reaper.
8.
It's 50s.
Anyway, she's an...
Say, like, she has an invisible jet and an invisible whatever. It's like, this is just sucker
You know what's the
punch.
really stupid thing about the invisible jet? She's still visible in it. She can fly, and she's sitting in this invisible jet just...
Ow!
Sorry.
Oh my god.
That hurt me! I'm not even wearing headphones.
You guys are the worst.
Sorry, I'm sorry about
Fucking
that.
Christ, we talk about Battlefront, please.
But
Well,
yeah,
no, I brought that up because we will get to Battlefront. I brought that up because I'm wondering if in the movie are they going to do that at all, or are they going to make her this
Oh, they will.
everyday
They'll make the movie
woman
the
that
biggest piece
somehow
of shit.
becomes.
that's what happened in the TV show. She wasn't a warrior princess at all. She was just some CEO who worked out a lot. I'm not even kidding.
Oh, good.
I
Yeah.
never saw the TV show.
It had one unaired pilot, and it was immediately canceled.
Did the TV show not run
No.
multiple years?
No, it was on I think it was on
Wait, are you not talking about the 1960s TV show, are you?
No, I'm
Oh,
talking about the 2000s.
Oh, you're talking about the modern one. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, the 1960s one ran a bit longer than
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
the 1960s.
I thought that was the one you
It
were
was all
talking
CD
about.
in the 60s.
Now I haven't seen anything from the 1960s,
LSD.
but I remember I've heard that for the time it was
LSD.
it was half decent.
What were you using shoes? LCD.
Yeah.
So Star Wars Battlefront. Some things about that game. It got a trailer. It showed, apparently it's all in actual game footage taken from. I agree with you. That's taken from a PC because apparently they showed footage from a PS4 and it wasn't quite as good. But apparently, DICE says that they focused on the PC first, and they're gonna they're focusing on the PC first, and they're gonna like clean up the console versions later on.
Yeah,
so
it's made using Frostbite 3, which is the Battlefield engine and the Dragon Age Inquisition engine.
I feel like they're taking their time with this game, so I'm hoping that we're not going to see another Battlefield, fiasco at launch.
Oh, you mean have
it
working?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So some things about this game. No single player, which I don't care about because the first two never had, the first one never had a single player. Not really.
Can you play it by yourself though? With AI?
I think so. I don't know if that's been explicitly said.
Other ones. I kind of think there will be.
Yeah,
there's split screen multiplayer in this one.
Yeah, and there's split screen co-op. So they have like small
PS4,
and they have co-op modes where you and a couple of friends can fight against do specific missions on smaller maps. And I think those are against bots. Yeah, there are They said there's going to be multiple game type modes. They've only announced 2 so far, like skirmish or whatever that mode is. Deathmatch and team deathmatch.
There are 3 planets confirmed. I think
4.
4?
Yeah, there's Endor, Hoth, Tatooine, and Solist.
Oh,
and what?
Where's that?
Solist is a planet. Do you remember the 3-eyed aliens?
Yep.
That's where they come from. I think they're Solistans.
What are they called?
No. I'm sorry. They're not the Solistans. They're
Solistans are the ones with the flaps, aren't they?
No, that's the maybe.
I don't.
You mean the guy in the Millennium Falcon who yeah. I'll look it up. Okay. But so those are the. But apparently, on Solus is one of the major manufacturers for Imperial Arms. So that's where they make all the ATSTs and the AT-ATs and the shuttles and the TIE fighters and stuff. And the 5th map that's been announced is Jakku or
that's what I was thinking of.
Which is going to be released a month after as free DLC. And it's going to be about the Battle of Jakku, which is in the beginning of the Star Wars the movie trailer. We talked about the destroyed X-wing and ship that crashed on the planet. Apparently,
you're going to see how that happened.
Yeah, apparently that was they described that as the battle where the Empire finally lost. Like the bulk of the Imperial fleet was destroyed in that battle. So apparently, you're going to be able to play in
one
that
Star
battle.
Destroyer, apparently.
Well, I mean, actually, you see multiple ships. Later on when the Millennium Falcon's flying through them.
Oh yeah, you do.
Yeah, so presumably they're all over the planet. But there's a scene at the end of the trailer. So they also announced that like in Battlefront 2, there's going to be hero characters. So presumably after you gain enough points, you get to turn into a hero, and there'll be a more powerful player you can play as. The only confirmed heroes now are Darth Vader and Boba Fett. And when you see in the Boba Fett scene where he's in it and he's flying up and shooting people and being badass. Yeah. In the far distance, I didn't notice this, but you can see an Imperial Star Destroyer crashing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So looking forward to that.
Awesome.
There's team deathmatch mode, and then there's also I forget what they call it, but it's basically the Imperials have to protect an Imperial Walker from the Battle of Hoth, the 4-legged camel-looking ones.
Maybe someone was playing as Galen Merrick and pulling the Star Destroyer down.
No, because that's no longer canon. Shut up. Never mention it again. Ever. I hate that game.
Who's to say it's not canon, though? Nothing is overwriting it.
Because they've thrown it out. Literally, the only things that are canon anymore are the 2 TV shows and the 6 movies.
But the TV show makes a reference to Darth Bane. Darth Bane makes reference to Darth Revan, therefore, Old Republic canon. Boom!
Yeah, okay. You got me there. Anyway, the Imperials have to defend the ATSTs and the Rebels have to bring them down. It's kind of like, apparently they took this game mode from Battlefield 2142, was it? Where one team has an airship that you have to control.
2140, yeah.
Yeah, that's the future one, right?
Yeah.
You have to control certain areas and help bring down an enemy airship. Apparently, it's similar to this one where you have to constantly attack this AT-AT before it reaches its destination. So I think I think you're going to be able to play that on all the maps, but I can imagine in Hoth that's going to be you have to stop the AT-AT before it gets the shield generator and maximize.
It might be easier with those tow cable thing, the snow speeders.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in the trailer they brought in the Y-wings. They were able to call in a bombing strike on it because they used proton torpedoes. That arm was too strong for blasters.
How the hell did they get an AT-AT in the freaking woods? Like, it was literally like shoulder to shoulder with trees. Like, how do you get that through there?
Well, the AT-AT was in Endor in the movie. Because that's how... because when Darth Vader comes down in the shuttle to pick up Luke, Luke is being brought to the little landing station in an AT-AT.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a scene earlier when they're all spying on this Imperial base that's like high up in the trees or something.
I haven't seen episode 6 in a while. So.
They're walking around. I was like, that was my favorite set piece of those movies, I think. The Andor.
I
think that was filmed in... Was that filmed in British Columbia? Was it California? I know, because it was somewhere on the West Coast. Yeah.
I was told it was BC when I was there.
There was a really cool model somebody built of an old AT-AT in the woods, like that's leg blown off and just covered in moss.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I love. That's why I like the Crash Star Destroyer so much. That scene, just like
it shows
relics of war.
Yeah, like
it's lost in time. It's awesome.
It shows a water universe.
Yeah.
And I like how they're taking place on planets that we haven't seen before. They're not just going back to Tatooine again. Because I'm pretty sure Tatooine has only been... The only movie that Tatooine was not in was in Episode 5. Because you saw Tatooine in Episode 1, 2, and 3.
California.
Okay. Episode 4 and Episode 6. He was only not in... So I'm glad we're not seeing Tatooine again.
Yeah. Although I think we will.
In the movie?
Yeah.
I would imagine we are, but I'm glad, the space,
I went back and watched the first teaser again.
Yeah.
When we first see John Boyega, is that his name?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Jacob Jingle.
Anyway,
the stormtrooper guy.
Yeah.
When we first see him, he like jumps up and he's all sweaty and gross. But the planet he's on it does not look like this new planet that the Star Destroyer was on.
Yeah.
It's very, very sandy.
Yeah, but Tatooine it had sandy parts.
Not yellow sand.
That's true.
It had gray sand.
Oh,
that's true.
It
was orange.
We're getting into it now, folks.
The first trailer looks like Tatooine. The second one does not look.
I'll give you that. I will. But the scene later on in that trailer where they're in the little town and she's on that speeder. Mm-hmm. That kind of looks like Mos Eisley. But there could be Mos Eisley on this new planet.
Yeah,
so.
it could be.
I was kind of hoping that this desert planet was Dantooine because you never really got to see Dantooine. But anyway,
yeah.
What else? Information. It's going to have 40 versus 40 on all three platforms. PC.
Is it 40 versus 40?
Or it's 20 versus 40. It's 40.
Player?
Sorry, 40 player.
That would have been impressive.
Yeah, 40 versus 40 is crazy. That'd be the most I've ever played. I think in the one map.
No,
it was a game. Wasn't?
Yeah, I was going to say you only game Mag that had.
Oh right, yeah, I'm completely wrong. Yeah,
and it didn't work.
No,
doesn't look horrible. But yeah, the maps need to be pretty sizable to get 40.
Yeah, well, what I'm hoping they'll do is sort of, when Resistance came out and they had 40-player online, what they did, which was a clever way of having little maps that turned into a lot of maps. You'd have, your 4-player version, your 8-player version, your 16-player version, your 40-player version.
Right.
And they were completely different, basically. So you'd have Grimsby with all these different versions. It was a different location. And I'd like to see them do something like this.
It kind of limits you, though, to map selection, doesn't it? Because it's like, I want to play with 4 people. I can only play on these 3 maps. You don't really want to play with a handful of people on a map.
No, you could still play with 4 people on an 8-player map.
Yeah, but it'd be pretty sizable, wouldn't it? Or are they not that much bigger?
It's appropriately bigger. It would be if you wanted to play a really close quarters map, you'd play a 4-person map. But if you wanted to play something that took a little bit more walking, you'd play 8-player. It was enough there were small enough increments that you get it sort of what you wanted. And I'd like to see him do something like that with this game.
The laser blasts that they use for the weapons and stuff. Apparently, they're not modeled after they're not an effect, or they went back and they looked at the movie and they're copying. So when they hit the trees and other stormtroopers and stuff, they had that like kind of like I like to think of it as like a Power Ranger spark where,
right.
and apparently. And that's what they look like in the game, so it looks really authentic. The new Star Wars Rebels TV show does a very similar thing where they went back and that show is honestly a love letter to Star Wars because like
is it good?
I've watched a couple of episodes. I'm waiting for it to come out on DVD so I can binge it, but it's very. Everybody kicked up a stink because they said we're going for a much more lighthearted adventuring tone. Everyone's like, it needs to be dark and edgy. I'm like, no, it doesn't, because the first movie was, a very lighthearted adventure, and this is what this TV show feels like. It's about a group of people who are fighting against the Empire, and they're doing it in they're like swashbucklers. It's like if
that show might overwrite The Force Unleashed. Yeah, that takes place between 3 and 4, right?
Yeah. So that you should. I'll watch it and I'll let you know, and I'll give you a link of it when I get it if you want to. The Clone Wars is pretty good, except the first season was pretty bad. But the seasons 2, 3, 4, and 5 were actually pretty good, except for a couple of episodes, which were awful. And I feel like George Lucas stuck his big fat mitt into those ones. So.
I have a hard time getting into the art style, to be honest.
Yeah,
and that's perfectly understandable. But when you get, it's kind of like
you're gonna have a lot of trouble with Green Lantern. If that's the case,
yeah.
when you, it's
kind
of like Transformers
with my animation.
It's like Transformers Prime. I hated the art style of Transformers Prime, but once I got past that and started watching, like Transformers Prime is amazing. It's probably the best Transformers show since Beast Wars. It might actually be as good as Beast Wars.
What canon does that follow?
It follows the canon of the games, the Fall of Cybertron games, kind of.
Oh, does it?
Kind of. They have a thing where I don't think they're supposed to be loosely connected, but it's not like super connected.
Right on.
Yeah, so it's all pretty cool.
Battlefront looks awesome.
It does.
Any idea
look
when
really,
it's coming out?
November 17th. And if you pre-order it, you get the Battle of Jakku. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right.
I will not pre-order it.
You have the Battle of Jakku a week earlier, but
right, but it is free DLC.
It is free DLC no matter.
To you a week earlier.
Yeah. But and I think I heard a rumor that it was coming out on Xbox first, but they never made an announcement at E3.
All the advertising is on the PlayStation side of things, though.
Yeah, but I heard a rumor that was Xbox is getting it like a month earlier.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a thing or not. You think that would be a major announcement they would have? Maybe we'll hear more about that at E3, and it'll be an Xbox title. They're going to show it mainly on the Xbox. But like you said, it's all on the PS4. So
why do they need to do that? I really hate when
EA should just cancel every game they have in production and just make awesome Star Wars games.
Yeah, they should.
They should change their name to LucasArts and just make
even Mirror's Edge 2.
If they could somehow tie that into Star Wars,
make Faith a Force sensitive, so that's how she can detect where to go and run and stuff.
Make her a bounty hunter in Nar Shaddaa or something.
That'd be cool.
You wouldn't like that?
Well, it'd be fun, but have it also Mirror's Edge.
How much time we got left, Rory?
We have about 5 minutes.
Can I briefly talk about Mirror's Edge for a bit? Because I'm watching your Let's Play series, and I've been enjoying it. But I remember I played that game when it first came out, and I really didn't like it. And then you talked about it, and I couldn't remember why I didn't like it. I remember now. It is really hard to figure out, except through trial and error, where you're supposed to go in a lot of levels. And that threw me, and that really turned me off from that game.
To be honest, I have never... It was never hard for me to figure out where to go.
Because Aaron's died 1,000 times.
I know that's Aaron.
I'm trying to talk, and I forget what I'm doing, and then I don't know where I'm going. That's what happens.
Sure.
So that's what happens.
Plus, we turned off runner vision. So.
Oh, okay. I remember not having as not as much trouble as you're having. But I remember there were a couple times where I got pretty frustrated.
I never had as much trouble as I'm having. It's just I guess multitasking kind of throws you off a bit.
It was also I got turned off, and this is my own thing, but I hated messing up. So if there was a perfect free running sequence, if I messed up, you could still do it. Obviously, I would just hit the ground and keep running. But I hated doing that. I always wanted to restart so I could perfectly do it.
Yep.
But that's not a fault of the game. That's my fault. So I don't begrudge the game that. But I don't know.
You should give it another shot.
I might. I'm probably just gonna wait for the second.
It's probably very cheap at the moment.
I'm just gonna wait for the second one at this
super
point.
Cheap when just after it came out,
Well, yeah,
7 years ago.
that too, yeah.
I think I picked up the PC version like brand new for $20.
Yeah.
Right.
It
Yeah.
wasn't expensive.
I think we'll clue up now.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
That's all the news I have.
I think next week we'll be getting closer and closer to all the stuff that comes out next month. May is, me and Adam were talking about this before the show, how big a month May is for everything. We got Avengers, and then right after that we have Mad Max, and then basically immedately after that we have The Witcher 3.
not next Friday, but the Friday after will be me and Rory, because me and Rory are going to go see the Avengers the opening night. We'll have we'll talk about that a bit on the podcast.
Yeah, and Ex Machina comes out next Friday night, and I intend to see that basically as soon as it comes out. So
You guys wanna come? See that with us?
Thursday?
it'll be it's probably Thursday. Yeah, next Thursday. You guys know?
Next Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, I guess.
Adam. All right, cool.
Should briefly touch on GTA just real quick.
Oh yeah, GTA
sure,
came
yeah.
out,
Yeah.
and the show. It's good. It's the definitive version.
It came out and it works. A game that works in 2015. Good job, Rockstar.
Well, I made fun of it all the time, but I'm saying this without no sarcasm, and I'm saying this as a compliment. They took their time, so they knew that were this game to come out even slightly broken, they would get crucified. So it's nice to see that they were able to release a game that was
but I
fully
mean,
finished
even
and
still,
polished.
usually there's some level of instability of some kind.
Yeah.
You know? But literally the first half hour it was out, I was playing online and there were no stability issues.
I've heard it's the most demanding game for computers, though.
is.
It'll break.
It is a demanding game.
I've heard from what I've seen, if you can afford to play if you can afford to have the best gaming computers, then you have to get it on PC. But if you can't get that, then it's just as well to get it on console because you're no
Really. No.
Okay, because that's kind of
You don't need a very good computer to run it. I could run it on this laptop.
okay.
But you need a really good computer to max it out.
Yeah.
To make it look as good as it possibly can be. But a mid-range PC is capable of making it look better than an Xbox One or PS4.
Yeah.
With that,
play
play us out.
Yeah, well, see you guys next week.
Thanks for listening.